Okay, sup you chuckle fucks, it's your boy, Dark Raku here with the What If Issei was a vessel to the elite Sternritters, part, 3. No, not 3, 4. Yeah, 4. Not part 3, oops. So, let me begin this as What If, let me shut the fuck up and let me actually begin, because no recaps or nothing, because it hasn't been 1 month. Instead, it's only been like a couple of days. I'm sorry I haven't really uploaded on this channel. I've been uploading mostly on my first channel, but other than that, let me begin this What If, let me shut the fuck up. And yeah, let me begin. So we begin into mostly Issei. Issei is right now at his new, well not new, old, well not old mostly. It was supposed to be the school that he was actually supposed to join like 2 years ago, but that didn't really happen because devils were being a fucking pain in the ass for no other reason than just being pain. But of course, wait. But of course, this is where, we go into mostly Issei. Well, before Issei, we go into Ria's POV. When Ria woke up, she found out one thing. She was extremely pissed from the fact that Issei Hiro, or it was probably Issei Hiro, but she can't really tell, just attacked her and her group. Now, of course, luckily her group is not dead. Akano is not dead. Kiba is not dead. Koneko is not dead, but she's missing. Yeah. She literally, basically, she got taken. She was furious and just frustrated because she just, instead of gaining a new member to her family to fight against Riser, she just lost a member and lost to a human entirely. But yeah, her pride was basically her at that point. But yeah. But of course, she's still not going to train. She's going to track Issei down to actually, kill him and turn him into her Parage. Well, a member. But yeah. And she's actually going to do, very kind of painful punishments towards Issei. But yeah. But the one problem is, Issei's a fucking god while she's nothing but a bitch. But yeah, not the point. But of course, that is not the point here. She is just angry at the fact that she can't find Koneko neither because, the evil piece that Koneko had in her body is right next to her, mostly right next to Riyadh. And of course, the demonic presence and demonic kind of signatures that shows that, not Akano, Koneko is a part of the Gremlin Parage, is no longer with her. It might have been erased by Issei, but yeah. Now, of course, right now, Rigas is a little worried because it seems that Issei had a miniature army with him. This is where, she's kind of, thinking in her head if she should call her brother or not. But since she's a little bit too prideful and doesn't want to deal with her over-obsessed brother, she's thinking no. She won't even call Graceby because Graceby will report this to Surge 6. And then Surge 6 will go into the human world and cause so much destruction. But yeah. But not the point. And this is where, she was actually thinking of talking to Sona, which when mostly Rias asked Sona about where mostly Issei or Koneko will be at, Sona just gave her a live question. Now, Sona knows exactly where Issei's at, but she's not trying to start a war with the strong being who literally whooped the shit out of them entirely. Or will not even lift a finger. He did lift a finger once to just use his sword against Rias and against the others, but he didn't even show that much abilities. He showed that he can literally bring an army with him underneath him, and you could not even sense that army being underneath him. He can control darkness, but yeah, it was confusing as hell for Sona, but Sona just realized that Issei is kind of dangerous as hell. When you can literally summon an army in literally the middle of the territory of like the enemy and be in a surprise attack, that's literally deadly as hell for mostly, Sona. Because mostly she thinks about how her Parage there's only 16 members entirely. Because in chess pieces there's 16, except for the king piece, but whatever. But this is where, she kind of thinks, 15 entirely without the king piece, but not the point. But there's 16 pieces. Issei can bring an army out of his darkness, out of his shadows, and just kick the shit out of all of them. It didn't even take that long for Sona and Ria's Parage to literally just be destroyed by Issei and 3 other members. Now, these 3 members were different. They did wear kind of white clothing. There was a girl with kind of greenish hair and greenish eyes. Her name was Candace. Then there was actually someone who was next to her, who was a girl with kind of bluish hair, kind of icy blue hair. Well, it was kind of like a frosty kind of blue hair. not icy, but kind of frosty. This is where, well, it was kind of, well, white a little, but not the point. This is where, well, she did have blue eyes. She also had cat ears and cat tails, 2 cat tails, to show that she's a Nekomaru. And she had pretty much this very, very kind aura to her. Very snowy aura to her, very, very gentle. But of course, well, not that point. She also did have such eyes to be a Nekomaru, but yeah. But this is where, well, next to her was a guy with pinkish hair to have kind of in the mohawk style. This is where, well, he kind of had pinkish eyes, and he was quite aggressive. Now, of course, his name was Bazo B, and pretty much all 3 of them did use element kind of styles of abilities. The green hair uses kind of this like lightning style, while the girl with kind of frosty hair, frosty and whitish hair, she uses ice style, and it was a very cold temperature one. And of course, where, well, Bezo B uses fire from his fingers and literally would have burned them to ash if it wasn't for Issei telling him to hold back. Or probably. Sona doesn't understand that much on why Issei didn't just kill them off entirely. Just rip through them and didn't care too much. She doesn't understand that much. But she understands one thing and one thing for sure. Issei, no. Issei is quite deadly. There's no way to actually put that in light term words. She doesn't know even her sister would be able to fight against Issei. She has really not that much hope for the double kind of, like the double territory. She doesn't know if the mouse will be able to defeat Issei because he seems to be quite, well, mostly he seems to be very, very versatile against the supernatural because, well, there's not really much information against mostly Issei. Pretty much Issei just seems to pull out a sword from nowhere. And of course, mostly pull out an army from nowhere. But yeah, either Issei was creating that army for a while, or Issei can just create soldiers, which they kind of does sense like human, but, or mostly smell like human entirely. But yeah, not really smell, but kind of like felt like human, but elite human or some kind of being. But yeah, she didn't really understand. Of course, this is where she having a headache from the fact Rias is complaining to her about Issei daily. This is where, well, Sona is just 10 seconds from bitch smacking the hell out of Rias to shut her up. Now, of course, there's that other question of why Issei took Koneko. Well, not entirely took Koneko, it was actually the girl who was named Yuki. Yuki took Koneko and kind of hugged her like a motherly kind of embrace. Mostly like a mother cat would do to a baby cat. But this is where, well, mostly Issei just didn't care, took out the evil piece without killing Koneko, which was shocking to believe that, and turned her to something else, which not turned to something else, mostly just free her to be a full Nekomaru. Now, of course, Sona doesn't understand that much in how Issei could do that. All that she understands is Issei has the power to remove evil pieces. That means if stray devils decide to join up with Issei, Issei can literally just remove those evil pieces, get rid of the demonic energy and mostly whatever that's with them, demonic signature from a clan or family or whatever house, and literally they would join Issei in a heartbeat, because if Issei has that power, he can literally make an army of just stray devils that hasn't fully went corrupted with the evil piece. Now, this is where, well, or mostly the power entirely, but this is where, well, Sona just kind of sighs. If Issei can do that, then Issei literally can build up an army with stray devils. Stray devils that literally become back to human or their specific race. Now, Sona's very worried with that. Very worried. She doesn't know how long or how much Issei can do that, or does he get tired or whatever. Truly, there's no limits with Issei. Issei can literally seem to be a different being from them entirely. He's not a devil, he's not a human. He could be a human, but they can't really tell. There's no way a human managed to kick the shit out of them with just this ease. This where, well, Sona just sighs and says, damn it. I really, damn it. Damn it. Sona's just trying to think and what to do. But yeah. But of course, we go into a time skip towards Issei's POV. Issei is now at his actual new school, and that's where, oh, Issei is kind of having like this white clothing. Well, yeah, he's kind of wearing this professional white clothing, much better than the one that he wears in Kuo. And this is where, oh, mostly he's kind of happy because he doesn't really need to deal with mostly Kuo or any of the horny ass girls or anything. But this is where, well, while we kind of went to the school now, this is where, well, right next to him is actually Candace, and right next to him, literally right the right of him is Candace. Candace is holding onto his arm without a care of the world. And this is where, well, Issei swatch out and says, can you let go of me, Candace? Candace says, no, I don't care. Leave me alone. This is where, well, we'll see Issei swatch out. But next to the left of him is basically, well, Yuki. Yeah, Yuki with mostly Koneko. And Koneko is hugging onto Yuki like a scared little child. This is where, well, she's so nervous and other things because she basically got all her memories back in this like past 2 days. And this is where, well, she's been kind of very frightened of like devils entirely. She's so scared. But of course, this is where, well, mostly she's not the only like a model in the school. She is having Yuki with her, and she also met another person. He's considered to be somewhat of a Sternritter, but not entirely. He has the letter C for cremation, and this is where, well, his name is Dobby. Dobby isn't actually his real name because, well, Koneko hasn't really known him that much, and he also really doesn't like saying his actual real name because he has family problems. But his name is just Dobby, and this is where he has kind of blackish hair with bluish tealish eyes. He also has a very powerful bluish flames, but yeah, he's kind of like Basil B, but mostly Basil B uses something called H for heat, while mostly Dobby uses something for C for cremation, but yeah. Cremation is a very powerful type of blue flames that can easily burn the user if the user isn't too careful with the reality to control. And yes, mostly Dobby does have lots of burnt skin around him, but not the point. But this is where, well, there is a kind of healer for Sternritters, kind of a kind of healer who has, what's it called, mostly. So mostly this person has kind of blondish long hair. This is where she has also kind of greenish eyes, and she seems to be quite innocent and cute. Of course, she comes to the school because, well, she really didn't have anywhere to else go but the fallen angels. But mostly a couple of members of the Sternritter managed to kind of like grab her and just like stop some like fallen angels from actually taking her. But yeah, but mostly she actually came to the school a while ago, and of course actually became also a Sternritter, kind of. She's mostly for like the healing property team or whatever, but of course she has the power of R. Basically this mostly she has the power of R, and it's called let me say it again. So of course it's called restorative, and of course it allows her to kind of heal mostly people, like restore people's health back to normal, like heal all their wounds and however badly they have or anything. But she has to have a control of Ryotsu. So of course she needs to kind of build up Ryotsu entirely. And this is where, well, she has a way to actually build up her Ryotsu over time by actually kind of having like these special like marks around her kind of like left arm to actually be able to kind of store mostly Ryotsu into them. And when she does this, she right now has mostly 3 right now kind of built up because she figured out mostly quite fast and how to actually store Ryotsu. And of course she does this on a daily basis, but yeah. But of course she's right now having kind of 3 of them, and one more, but it's right now kind of like a quarter way of being filled, but yeah. Her name is, well, Azia Argento, and she is actually a new Sternritter, but yeah. But of course, this school is actually full of either Quincy's, supernatural beings that usually don't want to deal with their own kind of like clan, like either just species, well, mostly their own species or whatever bullcrap. The Quincy's don't even force them to join them entirely. Issei doesn't actually force them at all. They're either joined because of a club that's called, well, the club is called, well, there's a club that's in the school that's actually called Elite. And of course, where, well, not the elites. It's mostly called, what's it called? Advanced Humanity. But yeah. But pretty much, this club actually kind of studies in Ryotsu and other things. And yeah, you get the point. It's basically the kind of base-up operation for the Quincy's in the school. Now, the school is called Royalty Blue. But yeah, I'm just going to call it Royalty Blue. But that's where, well, pretty much everyone in this school kind of knows about the elite, the Quincy race, the other supernatural beings, and yeah, in the supernatural beings, well, mostly the Quincy's know about the supernatural beings, but yeah, the supernatural beings know about the human race, and yeah, the elite human race. Now, of course, not many of them are spies because they just want to get away from their own race entirely. Because, well, you see here, their own race is quite annoying to them, so yeah, they just go to the school. And of course, mostly politics from their own race doesn't really can involve them entirely, because in this kind of place, the Quincy's actually, well, are truly the mostly rulers of this territory. But yeah, because there's actually a part where mostly both the heiresses from the devil, well, mostly the devil territory, being what's it called, Sona and Rias, they don't really have control of this like small bit of territory. It's right next to mostly Tokyo. Well, not really right. Well, it is right next to Tokyo, but of course Tokyo is actually taken control by like the Yakuzas and other things, blah blah blah, whatever. But of course, pretty much this territory is literally surrounded and protected by the Quincy's. But yeah, and the Quincy's grow each and every day because, well, a lot of them kind of found out they have Rialsu, and they actually train themselves to become like mostly soldiers. But yeah, now of course, well, lots of them do push themselves to the maximum limit, and they might get chosen to actually become a Sternritter. Now there is a lot of Quincy's that are trying to become Sternritters, but yeah. But there's a kind of mostly possible chance that you won't be able to get an ability. Now, the Sternritter ability powers, mostly instead of how Yuhaba kind of uses its own blood and you have to drink it to actually get a power, a certain power of mostly the abilities, Issei just blesses you. But what I mean by blesses you, he kind of uses his imagination powers. Because Grammy has a certain ability to also be able to give people Sternritter abilities, mostly powers. But yeah, if I can remember right, that's what Grammy can does. Wait. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that mostly Grammy's powers are allowing to mostly kind of give people the, what's it called, mostly blessing to get the Sternritter powers. But yeah, but pretty much that's what Grammy can do, or mostly Issei can do entirely. He uses imagination to create a device that actually gives the powers towards the user. Now, of course, they have to hold onto that device for literally 1 year before it actually becomes theirs entirely. But yeah, right now, Candace, what's it called? Basil B and mostly Yuki are the only ones that actually have their permanent, what's it called, Sternritter abilities. But yeah, but with that happening, mostly they have, well, mostly their own letter, that being S for Sub-Zero, H for Heat, and mostly T for Thunder. But yeah, Thunderbolt. But they are the only ones that kind of have their permanent kind of, or mostly permanent kind of Sternritter powers. But yeah, other than that, mostly cremation for Dobby. He has it only for 6 months. But yeah, he's actually joined a while ago. But yeah, but of course others kind of join recently, like mostly Ozzy Argento, who kind of joined recently, and that's why she can't really control her powers that well. She has to store it up, because if she actually had it for 1 year and actually became fully hers, she will be able to adapt that power with her own sacred gear to actually make it much more powerful. Her sacred gear entirely. Or mostly her sacred gear will literally change from using magic entirely to using Ryasu. So mostly her magic and Ryasu will actually combine together to become stronger and powerful enough to actually restore people with barely even any effort. But yeah, but right now she barely has to just store up. She actually got taught by mostly Yuki about this, to actually store up energy, so mostly she can actually learn much faster and restore things and train much better with the Ryasu control. But yeah, but that was the thing. Now, with that happening, there's other Sternritters that might be showing up later, but right now, I still need to think of all the letters, and I'm not trying to, well, duplicate the same letter right now, because it's going to be more difficult than ever. But yeah. But of course, that's not the point here or there. Now, of course, Issei does have, he does have the letters also, but mostly the letter that he has entirely is a little bit confusing. He will be able to give the letter A and B to someone, but mostly I'm not talking about balance or the almighty or mostly antithesis or whatever. I'm not talking about Death Strider, not Death Strider, Death Dealing, or any of the others that he has inside him. Those are just his. Those are already just the letters that he's going to have. Those letters can, mostly those letters that are right now empty, and he kind of has them. Well, he's not going to give his own abilities away. He's going to make a different ability that kind of makes sense for the user. And yeah. But I'm not trying to duplicate the same kind of letter with different name. But yeah. But that's not the point. So mostly there is going to already be someone who's actually going to be an Issei kind of elite group, like literally elite from beyond the Sternritters. But yeah, like elite Sternritters, but not the point. But of course, mostly it'll be like their elite guards that mostly Yuhaba has, but not the point. And it's not going to be the ones that Issei already has in his body. But yeah. But that's not the point here or there. I'm rambling on right now. I should continue on with this what if and shut the fuck up. Because later I am going to do a collab with mostly Dante, also known as Singularity What If, which I want to say one thing. I know he's going to get to this point and say, what am I going to say? When the fuck are you going to upload? And then he's going to say, fuck you. But yeah, probably. But not the point. But mostly, yeah, I'm going to do a collab with those two. Mostly Dante, also, yeah, I'm just gonna call him Dante for this time. Mostly Singularity just makes me confused. Or not confused, it just kind of is like somewhat I can't say that much because I fuck it up sometimes. But yeah, not the point. But of course, I'm also doing a collab with Isaac Black. If he shows up, I don't think he's gonna show up. Which, not gonna lie, I feel like Isaac Black always makes it difficult to kind of continue on with the storyline. I'm just saying, because my man somehow just takes us on a wild loop chase or whatever. Or not the point. Or not loop chase, goose chase. What the fuck am I talking about? Whatever, let me just begin. Okay, I'm rambling on. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, mostly, we go back into this what if, okay? Sorry. This is where, mostly, Issei is kind of, having those kind of Star Raiders. But right now he is going to school, and of course he does have to go to class and other things. I should also mention one thing. Issei is not entirely the council president in this school entirely, because he has someone else to do that for him. Like, Issei does not like dealing with so much paperwork from other students, and yeah, he is quite smart, but he's not going to be smart to be dealing with that shit. But yeah, he has mostly a couple of Storm Raiders and what to do that. So while mostly Issei is walking into school, mostly a lot of girls in that school aren't too horny, but of course they do like mostly Issei's look, and they know who exactly he is. He's considered to be the leader of the Stern Raiders, well, mostly the king, your majesty, whatever, but not the point. But Issei is kind of getting used to the whole king title, your majesty, and other things, but yeah, he's not too used to that. But yeah. But he is quite gentleman-like, so of course he is going to be like waving back towards people who waved at him. But yeah, but of course, we go into a time skip from all that. Mostly we go into Issei getting to class first, like his first class, and right now dealing with schoolwork, which he doesn't mind because this school actually does teach mostly like students about real life world problems and other shit. So of course we'll actually get the students quite prepared instead of giving them this random bullcrap that actually is not really necessary. They also kind of do keep to date with mostly modern kind of like somewhat like modern kind of education at the same time with modern problems that are happening around the world or even Japan or even Cuba entirely, just so mostly the students can be alerted and be fine and other things. But yeah, now, this is where, there's also kind of, the sports, they're mostly the sports of the school, mostly like the whole, like, afternoon things that you pick or whatever, like sports and everything. Yeah, those are a thing, and of course, they really don't force you to join because, that's not a thing that much. They mostly just advertise and if you want to join or not, but yeah, that's like mostly every school, but yeah, I don't know why I'm going on with that. But there is mostly Issei's group, which Issei's group is right now kind of full because a lot of people are trying to join as Stern Raiders. But yeah, but not the point. Now, of course, we go from that also to the fact that the clubs, or not clubs, yeah, I already said the clubs or whatever, but mostly not the clubs or whatever. No, I'm talking about mostly the activities for like school, mostly those like electives or whatever. Pretty much, you can choose them or you can't. Well, mostly not can't. You can choose them or you don't want to. Pretty much, it's not really forced upon. There's only 4 main subjects, that being what's it called, science, not biology, mostly science, language arts, that either being mostly Japanese or English or whatever, you get the point. But mostly, it's just language art would be Japanese, but yeah, math, and the last one would be, what's it called, history, but yeah. Those are the four main subjects. If you don't want to do the other kind of what's it called, electives, then you don't need to do that. People usually kind of pick some of the electives just to talk to friends and other things, just be in class or whatever, because they usually don't want to go home early. Because yes, after those like four main subjects, after you get through them, you can literally go home. You can either kind of do them throughout the day or just kind of do them right in the morning, like all four of them, and just go home at like 12 or something. But yeah, but of course, a lot of students in this school actually have good ass grades because, well, they're happy they can leave home early. There's also happy that some people can actually stay and actually deal with the electives and other things just because they either have fun or whatever. But yeah, some people usually stay after school for the clubs and other things. But yeah. So that's why this school actually has a better reputation than any other school. Because this school is completely different from normal kind of like society schools. But yeah. But of course, with that happening, Issei's, if you want to rank his like school, mostly the school being called Royalty Blue with Kuo, Kuo will be kind of bottom a little bit from a Royalty Blue because Royalty Blue is an equal gender school with mostly equal amount of guys and equal amount of girls. The guys aren't creepy, perverted, or any of that. They're quite kind of gentleman-like somewhat. Some of them are, well, sometimes perverts, but they usually keep to themselves. While the girls are the exact same thing, but not that much. But yeah, they aren't going to be going after one guy and trying. Yeah, you get the point. So of course, mostly the school is quite balanced, literally. But yeah. Now of course, the teachers themselves are quite, well, not young entirely. They are young, but some of them are quite old. But they are kind of like angry, rude, and kind of just lazy half the time. If people well, mostly if teachers slack off, they will get fired immediately for the fact they slack off. Well, they won't get like really, well, if they slack off for like a little bit, they are fine. They're either having a bad day or whatever, bad week, bad month. But if they slack off for almost like 3 months, they get fired instantly because, well, they don't want the students' minds to kind of, well, slack off for a while. But yeah, I mean, they can literally kind of just do the 4 classes and then go home. But yeah, but not the point. Now, of course, with that happening, mostly that's how the school system kind of works. But yeah. Now, this is where, well, Issei kind of gets into class, and this is where, well, mostly the teacher says, this is a new student here. This is where, well, I'd like you all to meet Issei Hyodo here. This is where Issei Hyodo right now stands up and says, hello there, everyone. My name is Issei Hyodo. I'll be the new student here, transfer here after 2 years. Yes, I tried to transfer 2 years ago, but my own town was being complete annoying. But yeah. That's where, well, a lot of people nodded. Now, a lot of girls are blushing. The guys aren't like sending death threats at Issei or anything. They just kind of have a little bit envy looks, but not much. That's where, well, Issei kind of bows down in front of all of them and says, may take care of me, y'all. This is where, well, mostly all of them nodded, and, well, Issei went to go sit down. This is where he's actually sitting next to Candace, and Candace is kind of saying, so, Issei-kun. Issei kind of turns around towards mostly Candace and says, yes, Candace, do you need something? Candace says, yeah, I do. So after this class, would you... No, we're not doing that. Please, come on. This is where, well, mostly Candace said, I'm right now kind of, well, how should I say? No. This is where, well, mostly Candace says, how you gotta be so mean about that, Issei-kun? This is where, well, mostly Issei says, can you stop? Oh, for fuck's sakes. This is where, well, mostly in his head, there's a couple of people kind of chuckling, but yeah, not the point. So this is where, well, mostly while Candace is right now trying to get Issei to get, well, somewhere private, we go into a time skip later on. Mostly we go after our class. Now, of course, the class that Issei was in was language arts, which mostly Candace has a kind of headache, but yeah, because she doesn't like doing stuff like this in the morning, but yeah. But of course, well, before mostly they keep walking, this is where someone actually appeared and grabbed Issei's kind of left arm. This is where, well, before Candace getting recognized, it was a girl with, well, mostly blondish hair. And of course, with palish blondish hair, with kind of palish blue eyes. And this is where she says, hey there, Issei. Issei says, hey there, Junko. So, how have you been? Junko says, oh, good, very good. So, can we go somewhere private? This is where Candace says, hey, you fucking blonde hair bimbo bitch, get away from him. This is where, well, Junko right now glares at, well, Candace, and Candace, Junko right now glare at each other. He says sweat drops, but this is where, well, that's the thing. Now, this is where Junko has the letter D for mostly despair, but yeah. This is where, well, she then says, huh, he doesn't want you, Junko. Junko kind of tells Candace, he doesn't want you. Now go away. This is where, well, Candace glares at Junko and says, he doesn't want you, you damn slut. Now go away from him. He says sweat drops, but that's the thing. That's where someone actually appears right in front of them. And that's where, well, mostly someone with kind of whitish hair and kind of having those like reddish kind of horns a little bit. Now, of course, yes, mostly the supernatural can reveal kind of their supernatural, mostly stuff around their kind of body, because Yuki does kind of reveal her kind of Nekomato side towards everyone, and everyone doesn't judge her. Now, Konako is doing it slowly, but she's still scared, very scared. But Yuki right now encourages her to do it, because that's one way to get over her fear, which she does, but yeah, slowly but surely throughout this day, but yeah. But we go back into mostly this person appearing right in front of, well, Issei, and of course she actually kind of wanted to join the group of Sternritters, but yeah. Her name is, well, so her name is Wakaha, but she's actually a devil, kind of a half devil, half human, but yeah. Pretty much she looks like this. So her name is Wakaha, and this is how she looks like. She has these kind of reddish highlights on top of her head with these kind of like horns. Of course, she does have a red tail mostly behind her, but yeah, she is a half devil, half human, but yeah. But pretty much she has kind of like this whitish short hair with kind of this reddish orange yellowish eyes, but yeah, reddish orangey kind of yellow. Yeah, you get the point. They're kind of slick a little, but yeah. But this is where, well, she was actually kind of she is supposedly a new Sternritter. Well, not a new Sternritter, but she's actually wanting to join the Sternritters, but kind of skip the training and other things because she already kind of knows a little bit how to control Rialto a little bit, just from seeing a couple of people. And this is where, well, she kind of says, hey, you're Issei-kun, right? This is where both Junko and Candace turn around to see mostly Wakaha. Wakaha kind of looks at Issei. Issei kind of says, yes. Do you need something? Wakaha says, yes, my name is Wakaha. How do I say this? I want to become one of your Sternritters. Issei looks at her, seems confused, but this is where he then looks into the future with the Almighty, well, without the whole kind of, desirable kind of change in the future. He just has future sight, but yeah, it's called Almighty, but yeah. But this is where, well, he kind of nodded and decides to kind of say, okay, fine. This is where Issei creates a device, and right now looks at her and says, do you know how to control Rialto and other things? This is where Wakaha says, yeah, this is easy to do that? Well, pretty much, let me explain what this is. This is a blessing, and this should be with you for 1 year. You cannot lose it because it is going to be a part of your body. But it doesn't matter. You cannot betray me. If you betray me, this mostly Sternritter power is not going with you, but you're going to die with it. Literally, it's going to kill you. This is where Wakaha nodded. This is where, well, mostly she kind of knew about that whole thing, but yeah, because the Sternritters kind of talk about it a little bit, but not much. But of course, where, well, she then says, what letter am I gonna get? Oh, that's quite easy. From just seeing your personality, you're acting kind of shy and quiet because you don't really want to show. Well, you are quite, well, quiet and shy, but if I can remember right, your name was Kaha. The one that actually also known as W, but also known as the crazy, psychopath, disruptive, chaos girl, aren't you? This is what, well, she wiped her eyes and said, how did you? One of my Sternritters already told me about you. Not gonna lie, I have the perfect, well, mostly, letter for you. What is that? M, for mayhem. What? Is that? Huh? This is where she looks at mostly Issei. Issei kind of just smirks and says, what, you don't want to join me? This is where, oh, she said, no, I do. She blushes a little bit, which mostly, she takes the device from mostly Issei's hand and say, thank you. This is where, oh, she blushes and looks away, because mostly she kind of likes how handsome Issei is, but this is where, well, mostly both Junko and Candace notice her kind of blush, and this is where, well, they're kind of glare at her. Where mirrors look, because, well, they don't want any other girl to be near Issei. This is where, well, mostly, Wakaha says, well, I'll see you later there, leader-san. I mean, Your Majesty, I mean, this is where, well, she kind of just gets pat in the head by Issei and says, you can call me whatever, but don't be too formal with me. She nodded and said, yes. She starts walking away, but yeah. But before walking away, she then says, can you not call me Wakaha? Can you just call me W? I kind of rather be called W than Wakaha. Why? Because Wakaha just means inexperienced child, immature. This is where, well, mostly Wakaha says, can you stop being so mean to me? This is where, well, she blushes, looks into it, and kind of looks away. This is where, well, mostly Issei chuckles and just kind of just says, okay, whatever, W. This is where W says, good, bye. This is where, well, she walks away, of course, absorbing the kind of, well, Sternritter powers and kind of just walk away, but yeah. This is where, well, she's smiling with such a happy face, but yeah. This is where, well, both Junko and, what's it called, Candace are kind of looking at Issei with a look of, really? Did you just get another girl? That's where, well, Issei looks at them and says, what are you two talking about? Why are you two looking at me like that? Whatever. Come on, we gotta go towards, well, we'll see Ozia and, well, Yuki and, Koneko to see if they're okay. Because I heard an explosion. And it probably was Bowser B and Dobby fighting again. So we gotta go check on them. That's where, well, mostly they both nodded and kind of just walk off. Because they did hear an explosion while mostly, what's it called, W was actually talking toward Issei, but yeah. But of course, they really didn't want to check it out, but yeah. Now, of course, they have to go check it out because Issei gotta make sure that basically Dobby and, well, Bazar aren't just fighting again. But yeah. But other than that, I'm going to leave it off here for mostly part 4 of this What If. Other than that, bye, see you, yeah. Now, I still gotta make sure all the letters are correct, but yeah, other than that, bye, see you, yeah. Bye-bye.